Long ago, in the mist-covered hills of Japan, where temple bells echoed through cedar forests and narrow stone paths disappeared into the morning fog, two Zen monks set out on a journey between monasteries. The elder monk was named Tanzan. He was calm, gentle, and deeply wise. He wasn't known for blindly following rules, but for understanding the compassion behind them. He spoke little, smiled often, and carried himself with a quiet confidence that seemed untouched by the chaos of the world. Walking beside him was a younger monk named Aikido. Unlike Tanzan, Aikido believed that discipline meant absolute obedience. His robes were always perfectly folded, his prayers perfectly timed, his conduct perfectly aligned with every rule of the monastery. To him, discipline meant never bending, never questioning, never making exceptions. Hour after hour, they walked along muddy country roads that wound through bamboo groves and flooded rice fields. Dark clouds gathered overhead until heavy rain began to fall. Soon the road became thick with mud, and every step grew heavier than the last. Eventually, they reached a swollen river crossing. Standing at the water's edge was a young woman wearing a beautiful silk kimono. She looked frightened. The current was rushing fast, and one wrong step could easily sweep her away. She clutched her robe tightly, unable to cross. Aikido noticed her, then immediately looked away. Monks were forbidden from touching women. That was the rule. Without slowing his pace, he walked on. Tanzan stopped. He looked at the frightened woman with quiet kindness. Without hesitation, he smiled and said, "Allow me." He gently lifted her into his arms, carried her safely across the river, placed her on dry ground, bowed politely, and continued walking. The woman thanked him, but Tanzan simply smiled and continued on his way. To him, the moment was over. Aikido, however, couldn't believe what he had witnessed. His mind raced. How could he do that? He's a monk. He touched a woman. A beautiful young woman. Has he forgotten his vows? They continued walking. 1 hour passed, then another. The rain stopped. The clouds disappeared. Birds returned to the trees. Nature had moved on. But Aikido hadn't. The argument inside his own mind only became louder. Finally, as the sun began to set, and they approached the temple where they would spend the night, Aikido could no longer stay silent. He turned to Tanzan and said, "How could you do that? We are monks. We have taken vows. We are forbidden to touch women. How could you carry her?" Tanzan stopped. He looked at his companion with calm, compassionate eyes. Then he quietly replied, "Brother, I set the woman down hours ago. Why are you still carrying her?" Aikido stood speechless. In that single sentence, he understood everything. Tanzan had carried the woman only long enough to help her. Then he let her go. But Aikido, who had never touched her at all, had been carrying her in his thoughts for the entire journey. He carried her in his judgment, in his anger, in his assumptions, in his attachment to rules instead of wisdom. The woman had long disappeared. The river was miles behind them. Yet Aikido had never truly left its banks.